Hey YouTubers, this is my first official video. I want to do a demonstration on my bug out slash get home bag. This is something I usually keep in my vehicle or close by if I ever needed to grab something and go, or if I get caught away from home and I need to get home. It's got a lot of everyday essentials and some survival gear, and a lot of things I could use to survive in an SHTF type scenario. So I'm going to open it up and show you guys what I've got inside. Maybe you'll get some ideas from me, and maybe there's some things I missed that you guys can help me out with. I've been working on this for a long time, and let me open it up and show you what I've got. Alright, so here's the interior contents of the pack. The bag itself is just an Adidas bag that's got a lot of room and a lot of pockets. I picked it up pretty cheap. I want to say like 30 bucks. So now I guess I'll show you the contents. First, I've got an Ultimate Survival windproof lighter. This thing's awesome. Burns for a long time. I use this thing anytime I'm messing with paracord. It works great. Burns really hot. This is something I keep on the strap of the pack. Just a little LED light and an emergency whistle I got off a Gerber knife kit. I also keep a compass just in case. I've got a little Gerber multi-tool. This has needle nose pliers. I'm a big fan of the needle nose. I use this thing a lot as well. And then on the inside, I've got a Smith's knife sharpening tool that's pretty used, but this thing comes in really handy. A lot of tools in one and pretty lightweight. I've also got just a generic camo cap and some glasses. These are eye gogs, sunglasses, and protect your eyes, whatever. Come in pretty handy. I've also got a padlock. This is something that you never know if you need it, but I think it could have a lot of different applications if you needed to lock up, maybe if you're using a bicycle or something, or lock secure a building maybe. Who knows what you'd use this for, but I've got the key just kind of S-hooked on there. I also keep 2 magazines. This is a metal GI mag, 5.56. I keep it loaded. I do have an AR, but in some kind of SHTF scenario, ammunition is going to be hard to come by, so I keep at least 1 mag loaded. And then I've also got a Ruger magazine for my 10-22, which would probably be one of the most useful weapons, I think, in some kind of apocalypse scenario, just for hunting small game. It's very quiet. It's a 10-22 takedown, so I could fit it in this bag very easily if I needed to, but I keep that in there. And then I've got some 22 ammunition, which you'll see in a little bit. I've also got a big poncho, which is large enough to cover the pack and myself, so this thing would come in handy. Could also be used as a tarp because it folds out pretty flat, or water collection device. It's got a lot of useful applications. In here I've got a little instant cold pack. I keep it in this little Johnson & Johnson case so it doesn't accidentally activate. It's got little capsules in there that you break to make it cold. This is a SOG machete. I tried to limit the amount of knives that I've got. I wanted something that was pretty universal. This one does have a saw in the back, and it's not so big that it takes up a lot of room, and it's fairly lightweight. It's got a nice handle and handguard on there, so that's why I chose it over some of my other large knives. I've got quite a few, but I think this has got a lot of applications. It's got this little breaker on the bottom. You could probably use it to bang in a tent stake or something if you needed to. And then I keep a little fire striker in there as well. You can never have too many fire options, keeping warm, cooking food, whatever you needed, signaling, but redundancy is the key to fire starting, I think. Right here I've got just a generic 32 ounce Hygiene bottle. Inside there, I've got about a dozen glow sticks. So they're in there, so they're kind of protected. This isn't full of water, but the first thing I would do in any kind of scenario is probably ditch most of these, fill this up with water. But I do have filter and filtration and a lot of different ways to collect water, rainwater. So I don't necessarily have to carry too much water on me at all times because this thing's in my car. So I do have a little bit of water with me at all times. This is a stainless steel bottle that I've got. It's actually down inside here got some little water packets. So this water will last a long time. But that way at least I've got a little bit just to get me through the day. This is more of a, if I'm in a vehicle and it breaks down, worst case scenario, I've got a few ounces of water in there to hydrate or fuel up maybe before I walk home. These are just a few MREs. I used a food saver to make these. They're about 3,000 calories. I've got some oatmeal, some instant rice, granola bars, a few napkins and essentials, some drink mix packets. These will last me a few years. I made these myself. They're a little bit cheaper than buying MREs. I can make these about $6 a piece, $5-6. They've got tuna. There's all kinds of odds and ends in here, but I keep these around the house and in my vehicle too. You know, if I ever, like I said, broke down, I'd at least have some food on me if I needed to. I do test these out. You know, they're not just gross foods that sometimes come in these MREs. These are things that, you know, I don't mind eating. A lot of it I eat every day. I love oatmeal. In here, this is my mess kit. I've got this CRKT eating tool on the outside. This thing's got some hex tools on it and a spork, can opener, flathead screwdriver. It can be very handy. And then in here I've got an Optimus mess kit. It's got a little cup. And here's my stove. This thing I use a lot. It works very, very well. Cooks rapidly. I've got another spork and then a can opening tool, as well as my fuel canister in the bottom, and then a bigger pot so I could boil water in here or whatever I needed to do. So this is a pretty compact little handy mess kit that I can use. I use this when I go camping or backpacking. It's very, very lightweight and packable. These are some meal bars. I've tasted them. They're not that bad. They do kind of dry you up. You got to drink a lot of water with these. It's just kind of like a bland granola bar, but in, you know, a scenario where you need food, you could survive off these for several days. I prefer to have many other things, but these would definitely keep you alive. In here, I'm going to open up this dry bag. I'm not going to talk about everything, but I do have a really lightweight change of clothes. I've got some gloves, extra socks and underwear, things like that. Most of this is not cotton, just because cotton holds water, so I try to stick to synthetic fabrics that are quicker drying. I've also got a lot of batteries, different cords and cables. I get into this pack often, you know, if I'm needing to charge a cell phone or something, but I've got pretty much any kind of cable I could ever need, and then AAA, AA, and CR2 batteries, as well as some envelopes, paper, and stamps. I've also got a backup cell phone with several batteries, so if my cell phone, for instance, died or broke, I could put my SIM card in here. This is an old one of my phones that works great. I've got some headphones and things like that, and then I've also got a battery backup bank by Goal Zero. This thing's awesome. It's pretty lightweight. It's got a built-in light, and it charges using batteries or solar. This is my hydration filter by Katadyn. This thing's got all the hoses and adapters I would need. I've used this also. You can get water right out of a stream or a lake Definitely you'd want to treat the water as well. This is just a filter, but I do have tablets in here, quite a bit of them, for filtering water. Also in this little pouch I keep an outdoors survival kit that I made. I might do a video on that one day, but there's all kinds of essentials in here. It's a nice little package. And then some more matches. And then I've got a backup wallet. I've got some IDs in here that are valid. I keep cash, I keep some coin change, I've got some insurance cards. So if I ever lost my wallet, I do have backup IDs and my concealed handgun license. So at least I have some identification on me. And more adapters for the filter. This is my Hygiene Essentials kit. I've got a roll-up towel, Sea to Summit, a little compact toothbrush, and it's got toothpaste in the bottom. This thing's kind of neat, handy little travel kit. These are some bio wipes. If you can't take a shower, these would work just fine to freshen up or clean yourself. I've got some body wash, some wilderness wash, a roll of floss. I took it out of the package so it took up less room. Some anti-chafe, just in case if you're doing a lot of hiking or walking, you can use this on any high contact area to prevent blisters. I've got a little koozie here with some baby powder in there, multiple applications for it, some more camp soap, the sheets, and then I've got some Purell antibacterial. And the most important item in this little dry bag, I've got a roll of toilet paper, and then I also have a dental kit. It's got a temporary filling kit as well as some numbing ointment for gums and teeth. That's one thing, you know, if you're in the scenario where you were without contact or, you know, out of touch for a while, that would be one thing that would be extremely painful, is if something happened to your teeth. So there's kind of a miniature kit in there along with the toilet paper, which is probably the most important thing to me. This is my first aid kit. It's a Maxpedition pouch. I won't go into too much detail. There's a lot of items in here, but I'll kind of just go over the rough gist of it. I've got some gauze, different types. This is a snake bite kit. You just never know. More purification tablets. If I had to drop everything in the pack and just grab one item, I would grab this first aid kit. I've got ways for collecting water, purifying water, fire starting in here. So this is kind of my all-in-one pouch. In here there's different medications, ibuprofen, I've got things for cleaning wounds and cuts, sunscreen, everything to treat bug bites, toothpaste, got some Strike Anywhere matches, all valuable chapstick. You can never have too much of that, I think. Every day or into the world, who knows, a lot of applications. Here's a little survival straw filter. This thing's kind of compact, lightweight, and handy. And then a mechanical pencil, just if you have to write anything. I've got some forceps in here. Liquid bandage, basically like super glue for your skin. This is a glue stick. You could heat this up and use it to you know, patch some clothing or gear, fix things together. Who knows, a lot of applications for this, but a hot glue stick by itself. Here's some super glue. I've used this a time or two to heal a wound, patch myself up, or gear, so this is always great to have. You can never have too much of it. It's about like duct tape. You can use it on anything. This is a lighter. I put a little piece of cardboard so that the button didn't get depressed and lose all the fuel. It's loaded up, but just a little bit lighter. And some scissors. This would be, you know, multiple uses. Here's a blade to a knife. I could fix this to a stick just to have an extra pocket knife, or make a spear, or, you know, a lot of applications there. A little Sharpie. some bandage tape, and then of course a pen, a good pen. You never know if you need to write something down or notes or whatever. This is a signal mirror with the protective covering still on it. It's a little bent, but I think it would do the trick for signaling. In here I've got more medications, some iodine tablets, cold medicine, some Sudafed, allergy medication, some general vitamins. I write dates on anything I put in here just so I kind of know the expiration or what it is. And then this is a lot of the bandages and more gauze, adhesive bandages, things like that. And all the way on the inside, a little notepad, a Mylar blanket, moleskin. Use this stuff, it comes in handy a lot. There's some gloves in there, and then a little first aid manual. It's kind of stuck in there. Wilderness first aid. There's a lot of useful information in there. The last thing, and probably the heaviest item in the pack, this is my toolkit. It's just an old jigsaw pouch that I've loaded up with a lot of different tools. If I had to drop one item first, this would probably be it, just because there's a lot of items that I probably wouldn't need, but for an end of the world survival, a lot of this would just be, you know, extra commodities to have. This is some tubing. I've got this in here, I'm thinking multiple applications, but most likely maybe a siphon for siphoning gas or water. Who knows what I'd use that for, but I'm sure I could find a use. This is just some cotton rags. I've got the bands to a slingshot, so I could take a stick and make my own weapon if I needed to. I've got some little bungee bands and then a generic construction pencil. This thing I can use my knife to sharpen, so it's pretty handy. This is one of my favorite items in the whole bag. This is a Goal Zero solar panel, so I can recharge my phone, my tablet. I have a little nook that I would take that's usually on me that's got a lot of survival books or guides or just reading for downtime. It runs for a long time, but I can use this to charge any of my electronics. I've used this to charge my cell phone several times, you know, when I was in a pinch and I didn't have a charger. I've got a little handsaw and a lot of zip ties. Zip ties come in handy for all types of applications. Got some plain black trash bags. These could be used for a poncho, water collection. You can make a shelter out of these. A lot of applications. Very lightweight and inexpensive. Got a couple hand flares. You can use these to start a fire or signaling or to keep warm. They get up to 2,000 degrees, so who knows, but you could use these. They last quite a while, several years, so they don't take up much space. I've got a wax candle. I don't need to explain what that's for. I've also got some dryer lint here. You know, I saved this. It makes good kindling for starting a fire. It lights very easily. Doesn't take up much room. Extremely lightweight, and obviously it's free. So I keep a little bit in there for fire starting. I've got an inexpensive backup watch. Just, you know, you never know in case mine dies. Hopefully it never does, but there you go. A lot of paracord, a couple hundred feet there. A lot of applications, like you probably know. Got some 3M dust masks. You know, these come in handy if you're doing any kind of project or it's dust storm. Who knows? I keep a pack of silica gels in here because I've got a lot of tools and items that I don't want rusting. So I pick these up for free. I usually find them in retail stores laying on the floor, but keep that in there to keep everything from rusting. I've got a little tint nylon repair kit. It's got patches and some rubber cement. You can patch a lot of different things with that. Here's some swim goggles. If you had to ever fish for your food or in a dust storm. These would seal up around your eyes really well and keep everything clear for you. A roll of fishing string. This is a pretty cheap knife I picked up online with some paracord handle and then another fire starter. You can never have too many knives. This would be one I would use if I had to make a spear or something, or a weapon. I wouldn't mind losing, but you could lash it to a pole fairly easily. Here's a Mountain Hardware nylon belt. It's very lightweight, aluminum buckles. Just a second belt could be used as a tourniquet or to fix yourself up if you broke a limb or something. Here's a little sewing kit with some duct tape on it. There's safety pins, thread, scissors, needles, everything you need. I've had to sew up a lot of my gear before, so this is kind of handy to have. It doesn't take up much room. Here's just a little pack of razor blades. These are kind of nice to have. You know, a pocket knife can always get dull. These are just disposable, so extremely sharp for cutting whatever you need, and then you can throw it away when you're done. Here's just some playing cards. I put these in here. They're waterproof, don't take up a lot of space, but you know, kind of not an essential necessity, but it could make things fun if you had some downtime. Electrical tape. I like to use this on small projects. It's mostly waterproof, so it's good for all kinds of jobs. And I've got a little bitty tape measure here, so it doesn't take up a lot of room. Very small. More stormproof matches. This is a Coleman crank light radio. You could crank this bad boy up and then turn it on, so you don't have to keep batteries for it. You just crank it whenever you need it, and it's also a radio, so you can find out what's going on. In here I keep some .22 ammunition to go along with my 10-22 or any of my pistols, just kind of a backup, but there's about 50 rounds in there maybe. Here's a full roll of duct tape. Limitless applications. This thing's awesome. Use this for everything. Patch gear, whatever you need to do. Duct tape can do it. Here's a little very lightweight plastic trowel. You could dig a trench or use it to make something for water collection or going to the bathroom. Any small jobs. It's fairly sturdy. I've used it. You can see it's pretty dirty, but it works great. I've got some really lightweight aluminum stakes surrounded by some nylon cordage. This is always nice when you don't need something quite as strong as paracord. It's smaller, lighter. A blaze orange vest. I would use this for signaling or a flag if I needed to, but it's pretty lightweight, very small. Worst case scenario survival handbook. There's all types of first aid, navigation, signaling, plants and animal stuff in here, so all types of good guides. And then I've got a little pouch here just packed full of different tools. There's knives, I've got scalpel, rubber cement, my little fishing kits in here with hooks, weights, sinkers, some wire for snare wire, more nylon cords, a file, another packable knife, some other tools, more gear repair kits, Swiss Army knife, earplugs. There's all types of stuff in here, so I'm not going to open all that up. But that's about it for my bug out bag. The only thing that I didn't show, my sidearm. I am CHL. I have my concealed handgun license, so I do carry most of the time. I've got that on me. I don't have any extra mags in this for my pistols, just because they're usually on me. This is just kind of something I can keep in the car, or like I said, in my vehicle if I need to, just some backup supplies. And then I usually have a flashlight. I keep one in my car next to the bag and on my person. So I didn't show you any of my other light sources other than the small ones. But that's mostly it. That's pretty much everything I keep for my bug out get home bag. Let me know what you think. Thanks.